Same. Ooh, ooh. I don't think you could see me before, but it's exciting that I figured that out pretty quickly. So if you couldn't see me before, if it said stream will begin soon, then I think you can probably see me now. If you can't, let me know. That would be important. I hope that that you've had a good day. I've had a productive one, and I can tell you what I've been doing, and I will in just a little bit. I have chips because that's the magic ingredient for the streams. I have these chips today. Can you see them? I don't usually have this kind. I mean, usually it seems to be always like the kettle chips. You know what I just realized? I should have. Oh, whoa! Somebody just like beefed on their bike. What? I mean, that's crazy. I just saw him like. Okay, sorry. I mean, if I could take the camera over there and show you, I would. It's very strange. I just heard a crash, and then and then just this man got up off his bike, which is strange because there's a courtyard out there. So I don't know how it happened, but it happened, and I think he's okay. But I don't think even if I could take the camera over there that I should do that, because everybody's fear when you wipe out on the ice or on your bike or just walking along, the great fear, is that someone saw. And I guess today, in this modern age, the greatest fear is that someone not only saw, but had a camera on you and then put it on the internet. Carol, hi. Sown Love, hi. Caroline, White Timber Cottage, it's so good to see you. Listen, in case I forget, I have to remember. Yes, I have crisps. Okay. Sown Love, I don't know if I've seen you in here before, but I'm very glad you're here. And you're right. I have crisps. And from the beginning of this little project. Oh, he's limping and he's walking toward the door. Oh, I think he's really hurt. I mean, I don't like to talk about things that you can't see, but I mean, he's not really hurt, but he's sort of like he's favoring his foot. Okay, now he's back on his bike and he's going. The poor bloke. See, so in love. Okay, so I'm learning, but you're right. These are crisps. They're not chips. And for those of you, hey, Molly, you're on my list. I owe you an email. I owe you a couple, actually. And I owe Lee, Lee, I owe you an email. And I owe Nori an email. And I haven't forgotten. I'm buried right now with a couple things, but you're amazing, and I will email you back. I promise. So just know that, like, I see you. I see you. Anyway, he's gonna be fine. I'm sorry that he fell, but we have like quilts to look at. Also, I wanted to say that yes, these are crisps. And I don't know how many of you are here in the UK now, or how many of you who are not here have been here. But I have to tell you, I don't care for their chips. I mean, their chips. I don't, chips here, like fish and chips, which I mean, I could eat fish and chips every meal, the fish part. But the chips part, they're like, cottage fries, in the States, we'd probably call them cottage fries. And, hey, Susan. Hi, Susan R. Michael. So glad that you could make it. It's great. I love streaming, so I'm really glad it's Tuesday at 5 p.m. my time. But the cottage fries, they're rarely crispy. I like a little crunch on my potato. So I really love fish and chips, but I avoid a lot of those chips because they're not crispy. They're more potatoey. Like, sometimes they're a little soggy. And I know that part of the joy of eating fish and chips is that, like, the fish and the breading and it just kind of becomes this, like, mush of, like, glorious, fish and chips. But when you put ketchup on that business, it just gets, I don't know. So I do prefer the crisp to the chip when in London, right? And the last thing, I mean, tell me, what do you feel like? SJ, you're here. Waffle fries. I enjoy the waffle fries. Hey, Kankafo, welcome. It's very exciting. I'm glad that you're here. If you're a quilter, you are most welcome here. If you're not a quilter, but you're nice, you are most welcome here. We're having a good time. Hey, Molly, yeah, okay, I told you that I owe you an email. I have to make sure Nori knows that as well. Steak and shake fries. I like McDonald's fries. I really like McDonald's fries. But what I was going to say is that if the kettle people are watching, or any crisp manufacturer is watching, wouldn't that be a great sponsor? You know? Because eventually, once they process all my stuff with Twitch, I've already been granted like affiliate status. Like once you stream so many hours and you have so many followers, you know, you can achieve affiliate status. And then it's like partner status, which is like not easy to get. And I got a long way to go. We've got a long way to go. But the affiliate thing is great. So I've put in all my stuff, tax forms and things. And once I get that affiliate status, I can do a bunch of stuff for you and for the channel. But something's being held up probably because I'm in the UK now, but I'm really a US citizen. I mean, a resident technically. Yeah. So that's probably what the holdup is about. But once I have affiliate status officially, I can get sponsors. And I think like before I tap the quilt industry for, you know, I mean, I don't know, it'd be great to have a sponsor. You know, I mean, Baby Lock is an amazing sewing machine company. And this is not what I'm going for. I'm not like doing this Twitch thing so I can like get sponsors. I'm not. It's just I've been watching a ton of like tutorials on Twitch. And all these YouTube videos are like, here's how you make your Twitch channel, you know, explode. And they're all like sponsorship. So anyway, but I can't do any of that. I can't get, you know, a crisp company to, I would definitely advertise kettle. I mean, I do anyway, you know? Delicious. Okay, mayo on fries. What are you all talking about? Okay, wait a minute. You're nice, your family. Good. Cack and Fo. Good. I'm very glad you're here. Caroline, Molly, Virginia, hi. I see chips. Who else is talking about mayonnaise on? Okay, no. I don't understand. I hate mayonnaise. I hate mayonnaise. I think, it's so gross, and it's weird because it's. I don't know. I like eggs, but if you think about eggs too long, you know, it's like, what are they? But you like mayo. Yeah, I was a spokesperson for Baby Lock a long time. I love them. It's an amazing company. They're amazing. But okay. That's a Dutch thing, right? Isn't it? Mayo on French fries, or on chips. Mayo on chips. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Oh, what was it? I like McDonald's fries. McDonald's fries are great. And what I really like, and by the way, if you're new, very soon, I'm going to go into the official intro. People who have been here for the past, I don't know, let's see, almost 2 months, have gotten used to the sort of explainer moment of this video. And I'll do it for a while to kind of tell you what this is about and why I'm doing it and how you can enjoy it. So I'll get to that, and then we get into quilts. This is sort of the warm-up. So we're talking about fries and chips. But soon, we'll transition. I like Arby's fries, curly fries. And Five Guys has those Cajun fries. Chips, I mean. So good. France. Okay, yeah, France. Yeah, Havel's Sewing. Oh, and that's another great company, Havel's. Havel's Scissors. Oh man, I miss hovels. I miss doing quilty because, I mean, I just know so many great people, you know, in the industry. Hovels, I hope they're still doing their thing. I'm sure, I mean, obvious, I don't know why they wouldn't be, um, I mean, I still have a pair of hovel scissors. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hovels, come back. Come back to me. Come back to me, because once I can do like a sponsorship thing, I would love to be sponsored by Hovels. Hovels is so good. I have a pair of Hovel scissors in my stuff, 35 years, that they're still sharp. I mean, they're just, look at that. You can tell. You can tell how sharp they are. And of course, there's wonderful notions of all kinds, and lots of companies make wonderful things. But I'm telling you, these Hovel scissors, they're great. They're just great. And they don't break the bank. Look at that. Yeah, they're comfortable. I love that. I love them. And the little cap on the Hovel scissors gives a great click. It's like click. You know, that stuff matters. Oh, Carolyn, you're killing me. Mayo and everything. Oh. Okay. So, we talked about scissors and we talked about crisps. I think that's good. I have an exciting show for you today. At least I have an exciting jump off point, and who knows where we'll go. And now, you know, if the people who've been here from the start, I don't want to apologize for how the show has to go, but I truly value the early folks in the chat and or in the room. And I hope, as I explain Twitch and what this is all about, that's not too laborious for you. I say this because Eric, you know, I mean, he's very kind with his critiquing, but he's also pretty blunt. I mean, he's a computer guy, and he's like good at computers. So that means in terms of some people that I've met in my life, including Eric, that he kind of just says it. You know, he's kind with his critiquing, but he's sort of plain about it. And he was like, he listened to some of the last stream last time, and he was like, you talked about Twitch a lot. And, you know, I immediately reacted badly. You know, like, well, yeah, I know. What does it matter? But then I reflected, and, you know, and I think what I told Eric is, yes, there's kind of this, I have to, you know, repeat what I've said at the top of every show so far about Twitch, about what it is, why I'm doing it. But and even though it's, you know, repetitive, like by definition, I think I have to keep doing it for a while, because this is so new for so many people, and it's still new for me. And I tend to think that if somebody drops in here, if they take the time, if they heard about this, or they, you know, saw it on Instagram, or maybe somebody, you know, you mentioned to somebody, oh, I'm watching this thing, Mary Fons is doing this thing, it's super fun. If they have taken their time and their attention and come over to Twitch and made an account, because very few quilt people have a Twitch account at this time. I didn't have one before I started doing this. Oh dear, that's the door. Okay. Oh, Eric? Oh, good, thank goodness. So few people have been involved, you know, have any idea what this is. I think if somebody comes here and they just have to sort of feel their way around and kind of like, whoa, what even is this? Then I risk, you know, losing them. And I don't want to lose them, because this is fun. And I think that the more people who come and see it and hang out with us, the better it gets. And the more, I just want to make them smile. I want to make people smile. And I want to be curious with as many people as I can. So I'm going to tell you what this is about. And if you know what it's about, hey, Star Sundance. Hey, and it's KL Julie. It's KL Julie. I think this is the first time I'm saying hi to you. If it is, welcome. This introduction is for you. And actually, I will say, like, I listen to different podcasts, not a lot of them, but there's one podcast that I listen to, and the intro, like the kind of like intro credits or whatnot, verbal intro credits, are kind of I kind of like them because the repetition can be actually kind of nice sometimes. And I'll tell you, the podcast that I listened to it last night. I don't listen to it that much, but there's a podcast called Sleep With Me. Do you all know about a podcast that helps you sleep? Like there are a few, maybe there's a ton of them, but there's a podcast called Sleep With Me. And I should like tag him, podcast Sleep With Me, which is of course very funny. But it's Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. I'm going to play, okay, the guy who makes this is called Scoots. His name is Scoots. And I heard about this in the New Yorker, like a year ago. Molly, he bores you to sleep. Thank you for like summing it up. Scoots rambles, talks about nothing, goes off on tangents. We'll listen to it. And he's so boring that he puts you to sleep. Star Sundance, I'm telling you, listen to this, y'all. Okay, I'm sure this is like, well, okay, so this is a full episode. So I'm going to skip forward because he does an intro, and this is how I got on this whole thing. He does an intro telling people about the show because what even is this podcast where a man is so boring talking to you that he puts you to sleep? It's so weird, right, that he has to sort of explain it. And he has sponsors, so he does sponsor spots. And then about 20 minutes in, and he'll tell you this, that's when the podcast really, really starts. Hang on one second. I can do this on Spotify. Let me do it on Spotify. Because who knows what this is going to do. It might, I don't know what it's going to do. Oh, the intro song is so good. Okay, Caroline uses the Calm app. They have good night stories. Yeah. I think I've tried that one, but one time, because it does take me a while to wind down. Imagine that. But I listened to a story on the Calm app, and it was about the circus or something, and it was like do 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 do. It was like that kind of intro music that was like a carnival. And I saw a scary movie once that had like a carnival thing going on, and I was like, nope, it did not put me to sleep. So let me, okay, so I'm going to pull this up. So this is Sleep With Me, okay?
From PRX.
Okay, so when we go 20 minutes,
I called it first,
hold
and
on.
I want to give a shout out to my Ron.
Oh, I didn't do the song
out there. Everybody from Ron Konkoma.
Wait a minute. Okay.
So that's one reason.
Okay, so listen to his voice is so soothing, and he just okay.
The reason I make the show is twofold. One, because I've been there in the deep dark night, tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep. And if I can help, that would be my honor to help you. That's one. And then two is you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place you could rest. And that you feel like you could, relax and get the sleep you need to live a more fuller life. And that your life feels manageable, right?
Yeah, it's called Sleep With Me. Yeah.
And that to me is very important because you deserve it and our world deserves it.
He's
people
so lovely.
Around you. And that makes our world a better place to live in. It does have an impact on everybody. Occasions where a squire, here's a job, here's a potential.
So he starts going into a story or into a topic. And
business, just an idea that came up in my head is squire, winter squire. You say, wintersquire.com. Maybe I don't think I'll be purchasing that because I don't think I could spell squire. Was there a rocker named Billy Squire? Is that somebody that...
Okay, so you get the idea. I don't want you to fall asleep, so I'm going to stop it. But Sleep With Me, it's wonderful. It's helped me before. And what's interesting about that podcast is that it's not... I figured it out because at first he's funny and it's so odd, it's so novel that I was listening to him. I was listening to what he said. And it takes a few times, but what I realized is that what it does is you don't listen to him. It's someone talking. some boring like lecture that's going on like over there, and you don't focus on what he's saying. You just focus on like breathing and going to sleep, and what it does is it distracts you from what you're thinking about. I mean, when I'm trying to fall asleep, sometimes I think about all the embarrassing things I've done or said, or all the things I have to do, or all the things I've done wrong. I mean, really, and it just comes into my head and it's awful. So what you do is that stuff, Scoots takes the place of that stuff. So you can just sort of breathe, and whoever's talking is talking about something that sort of distracts you from your own stuff. So anyway, I think maybe I'll tell Scoots, I don't tweet, but maybe I could tell Scoots that I love his stuff, and I talked about him on this Twitch thing. Yeah, you know, but it doesn't give me funky dreams. It never has. Has it? No, it never has, because it's never anything substantive at all. It's just like, it's just nothing. So that is Sleep With Me. Okay. So let me go over here. Hang on now. Okay. So here's what's going on with this show. Twitch is a live stream platform, and it is not a place so far that has a lot of quilt people on it. There are some. Quilt Tony, the Snarky Sewist. I followed both of them. I encourage you to follow them. And there are people on Twitch who sew. They just turn a camera on, they're themselves in their studio, and they sew, and you can hang out with them. And Twitch used to be for gamers. I mean, it's definitely for gamers. Video game players stream their content. But over the past couple years, Twitch has been focused on slowly growing the platform to be welcoming to people who far beyond, you know, the gamers. And so you do have some crafters, a lot of crocheters are on Twitch. And YouTube has videos, you know, people make videos for YouTube, and they put them on their channel and they stay there forever. And some of them are highly produced, some of them are barely produced, but it's about, you know, mostly it's videos. They have live streaming too, but mostly it's these videos that are posted. But Twitch is just live streaming, and the streams that I do, they stay on my Twitch channel for 60 days, so you can watch old streams, prior streams, and you can go to my YouTube channel where I'm putting up these Twitch streams, so they'll last forever. But the whole point is to come here and hang out with us and be part of the live show. I guess it's kind of a show. And what I like about it is that you are more involved, I feel like, in the chat. The viewers really are. And there's different stuff that Twitch can do. Oh, yeah. Like, for example, check this out. Do you see that little bar up at the top of the screen? I figured out how to do that. And it's, let's see. It says, help me get to 150 followers. And like, it's like a goal box or something. And then as soon as I get another follower, it'll say 132, I think. I hope I did it right. But there's these different overlays and stuff that can happen. And I think it's awesome. So, so the content of the show is the most important part. And that's my job, is to make great content for you so you can be a part of it. And I am a quilt nerd. Maybe some people who are here right now are not quilt people. They just clicked on the video because the Twitch algorithm maybe put it in front of them. I don't know. But quilts, we're quilt nerds in this room mostly. And this is a place where we nerd out on quilts. It's a big quilt nerd out. And one of the things I can do on Twitch is like make a little animation and use my little stream deck. Use this. It's very fancy. I can put a button on this. That's my Dusty Springfield button. I can put a button, all right, that like pops up an animation. So maybe like if we get very, very nerdy, which will happen, you know, if we get very nerdy on a specific thing, I can like press a button and like a little like, I don't know, what should it be? A chip? A crisp? like a little dancing crisp that I make can like jump up and say like quilt-nerd out, and then like everybody gets a cookie or something. I mean, you know, you can eat a cookie or something like that, you know, like there's this fun stuff you can do. So I just like to do that because, you know, life's hard, man. Sometimes like, oof, it's been hard the past couple weeks, and we just need a dancing chip, you know. I think sometimes we just need a dancing chip. So this show is about following our nose down the quilt rabbit hole. Quilts are special, not just because they can keep us warm, and because, well, I should say, let me put it this way. Quilts are special because they keep us warm, and that's very good because, yeah, you know, it gets cold in most parts of the world at some point. A lot of parts of the world, you need cover, you need shelter. Okay, quilts can provide that, but you know, any blanket could do that. And what a quilt does is it holds memories as well. It holds history. If it's a quilt that's made by, you know, someone in your family or someone who you know, it's very special because it reminds you of that person. It holds the history of that person. Quilts can be made by a total stranger, but you find them in a thrift store, or you see them in a museum, or you read about one in a book, or you see one in a book, and you have, with some quilts, you have this like instant like, oof, you have a connection to them somehow, or you just like them, or you think, how did she make that? You know, because a lot of times quilts, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, and especially before the 20th century, and up until about the 1980s, I would say, the majority of quilts that were made in the States, and might be a little bit different. Men were quilters long ago, but quilter meant kind of a different thing. Anyway, we can talk about that today. But you know, quilts are kind of gendered, right? Quilts are a product of, you know, their material culture that have a lot to do with women's history, and so that's a reason that quilts are special as well. Quilts are art, they're craft. That's a conversation that just will never be over, the art versus craft debate with quilts, and it's fascinating. Quilts are really interesting objects in terms of commerce and the market. A quilt that you love, a quilt that you know, just would never give up, you know, is priceless to you. But, I mean, it's priceless, but if you tried to sell it, you know, a family quilt that's all beat up, you know, if you tried to sell it, you couldn't get much for it. So what is this strange object? What is this amazing object that we're talking about? It's a priceless, worthless object. And that just blows my mind all the time, that some quilts that you run into the house when it's on fire to grab, you know, the photo albums, the family albums, and the quilt, right? And my mom always said that too, like, you know, if the house is burning down, what do you go get? You know, it's a hypothetical question. Hopefully no one will ever, you know, hopefully, God forbid anybody has to answer that question or think of that. But, you know, if things are falling apart and you have to go get two things, you know, I know what I would get. I would get photo albums. Of course, now we have most things on our phones, but old pictures of the family, a photo album, and a quilt. And not only would it be smart to grab the quilt because it holds your family history and it's this artifact of your life, it's also useful. You know, if you need shelter, if you need, you know, to be, you know, if your house is burning down, you know, you probably want a blanket, right, to cover around yourself. I mean, it's true. There's this practical use for a quilt that is so, it's so real. And along with that, there's this sort of, I don't know if it's spiritual, but it's, maybe a little bit spiritual, metaphysical importance to a quilt too. So I told you we geek out about quilts here. And it's true, clearly, because I don't know. I've never really thought as deeply about another object, because I've never really felt like there was as much to anything else as there is to a quilt. A quilt is a special thing indeed. So quilts are in my family. That's how I kind of happened upon all of this anyway. And I make quilts, but I really, really like to learn about them. And so this show is about that. And now we can do that. There you go. That's my stuff. It's so Natalie. It's good to see you. Quilts for sure. Let's see. Question. Do you talk about quilts in series and movies one day? I'd like that. Well, the documentary project that's been like hovering over my head for years now. I can't talk about it right now, but I will. It's kind of a painful thing for me right now, because it just keeps being delayed, by agents and Hollywood and all that stuff. It's true. I have an agent, and I don't really know that they're doing what they need to be doing for my little quilt documentary that I want to make, but we'll talk about it later. Okay. Let us go to I gotta be cool. I gotta slow down. I get excited. I gotta chill. Okay. Yeah, I have something amazing to show you. So, and I have something to show you, but also to learn about. And I think you're gonna like it. Yeah, I think you're gonna like it. So the Brontë workshop that I mentioned last time, Quilt Folk, is hosting me and Jenny Smith, myself and Jenny Smith. We're doing a workshop on October 16th and 17th, 6 hours total, over 2 afternoons. We're going to talk about the quilt that the Brontë sisters made. Jenny Smith lives in Yorkshire. Ugh, I hate that picture. Why am I making a rabbit face? I don't know. Jenny Smith lives in Yorkshire, and that is where the Brontë sisters, the famous Brontë sisters, lived as well. The moors. On the moors. I love how Jenny says the moors. I can't do it. But they made a quilt, the Brontë sisters. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to show it to you. I'm leaving on Sunday to go to Yorkshire and visit the Brontë parsonage, and we're going to look at the quilt, and we're going to tape that, right? So that when you take the workshop, we'll play this footage and you'll see our visit. We're also going to go out on the moors we'll show you that too. So we're going to videotape all this stuff, like out on the moors. And then Jenny's going to teach you how to make this quilt, this little mini quilt. And what I want to tell you is that you sign up by going to quiltfolk.com, okay? And there's the price, and it's pre-sale price right now, so it won't be $99 forever. I don't know when that will change, but it will change and be $129. By the way, I have to tell you. Hey, Quilting Chic. Those are Liberty fabrics, I believe, Caroline. I gotta tell you, there are like 350 people signed up so far. I mean, I don't know. Tula Pink, she does an online workshop. She's probably getting like 3,000. I don't know. I could ask her. I'm not going to ask her. I don't want to know. But yeah, people are like excited about this. And I hope that you'll join us, because it should be really awesome. And there's going to be a live stream component, of course. Not on Twitch, but like maybe Instagram or something. You'll get all the instructions, all the details when you sign up. But Jenny and I are going to have tea, some tea, in Yorkshire at her beautiful studio where she gets to make quilts. She has a separate studio, across from her house where she gets to sew. It's fabulous. And yes, she has Liberty fabrics, stacked up all over the studio, because Jenny is the Liberty Fabrics sort of house quilter. She does so much for Liberty, and, lucky gal, she's very talented. So she's going to teach patchwork elements of this. And that's what I wanted to show you or mention, is that, I look at a quilt like this and I see those blades. Those, I mean, they're Mariner's Compass is what we're going to talk about today. Okay, I've got all this stuff about Mariner's Compass because I've been researching that, because part of my role in the workshop is to tell you about the Brontë sisters, and I'll tell you about the quilts that were made at the time that they were living. They only lived to be like in their late 20s. I'm pretty sure that, I mean, Anne and Emily died like of TB, both of them pretty young. And I don't know when Charlotte died, but I don't think it was much later. Anyway, but the quilts that were made in the early 1800s till about the mid 1800s, they're gorgeous. And so my role is to tell you about the Brontes, tell you about quilts that were made at that time, and just have fun with you and do this, only be really organized about it. But I'm looking at this, and if you're thinking about taking the workshop, and you're a little bit like, ugh, don't worry about it. You can just hang out. I mean, it's online, so you can just eat chips, and not pick up a needle and thread at all. But you can also just focus on, borders. You can do basic patchwork, your quarter square triangles. This is interesting. It looks like a square and a square, right, on the end, but it's just a patch, just a solid color patch, and then the quarter square triangles there. You'll get a pattern for this, and there's a hexie. You see, there's a little hexie in the middle. Eric, do I hear a beeping? I hear a beeping. I'm sure it'll go away. There's hexies in the middle, and then these blades and these diamonds. So there's a lot of different things to learn, different techniques, different applications. So don't worry if you're like, I don't want to make that thing. That looks really hard, or I just don't like it, whatever. It's the techniques that you'll learn, and Jenny's a wonderful teacher. So what else do I have to tell you? I don't think, hey Bip Palumbo. Kate Bush, yeah. Yeah, it's an online course. So you go to quiltfolk.com. So, I'll put the link in the chat. I am not good at doing that. I keep forgetting to do it. Bit Palumbo in the chat. I'm so excited. Thank you for coming. And I don't think that you are one of the people who have emailed me that I still need to email back. I don't think so. But if you are, I got you. I owe Molly and Nori and Lee an email. Okay. So I'm researching my stuff, getting my ducks in a row for this lecture, for this presentation, for this workshop. And I'm looking at quilts, from England, from, about 1800 till like 1860 specifically. And the reason I'm doing that, let me just pull up a couple. Let me pull one up. Ooh, I think I've got my button working. Yes! Did you see that? I pressed preview and it came up on the right on your screen. I'm so excited about that. Yeah, that's good. That's very, very good. So, but we can't have nice things. All right. So check this out. So and I don't have all of the pictures. I'm not going to show you all of the pictures, of course, because, I want you to come and see the other stuff. But let me go here. So I'm looking for specifically, medallion quilts, medallion frame quilts, made in England, between like 1800 and like 1860. And so Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights was written by Emily. Agnes Grey was written by Anne, and I haven't read Agnes Grey yet. Have you read Agnes Grey? Hey, Sibby Mac. It's gonna be awesome. And you're getting like the B roll. You're getting the how it's made, kind of like director's cut. By hanging out with us here, and I'm glad you're here. Agnes Grey, Anne wrote, and Jane Eyre. Sorry. Wuthering Heights, Emily wrote, and those two books were published together under pseudonyms. They pretended that they were men. They had the pseudonyms. And they were both accepted by a publisher. And Charlotte's first novel, The Professor, was like, not. I guess it wasn't that great. I haven't read it, but it was a first novel, and she was a little bit like sentimental about this, love affair that she had or almost had, whatever. So, but within a very short amount of time, she wrote Jane Eyre, and so they wrote these books like within like a year or 2 years, and they were all published like really close together, like 1845 or something. Believe me, I will have all my facts down just right by the time we get to the workshop. But that's so you're talking about, like, when you think about a crazy quilt, crazy quilts were made in the Victorian era, but like 1880. Like, I think about crazy quilts being, made in like 1880. And so that's the Victorian era, but this is also the Victorian era, right? Hey, Molly, you got an email coming from me. I just have to make sure I catch you. Looks like a round robin. Yeah, it does. You're reading Agnes Grey now. Okay, I've only told you 9 times. I'm going to give you an email. I won't say it again. Sorry. You're reading Agnes Grey. How is it? I mean, okay, I watched a BBC thing. Oh, it's so good. I'll put the link in the chat. These 3 women it's so good. I'll put it in the chat. But they talked about Agnes Grey, and I really want to read it because it sounds like it's really good. It's a very successful novel. And I also want to read Shirley, which was, I think, Charlotte's follow-up to Jane Eyre. Anyway, okay, let's get back to the quilts. So I'm looking at these quilts. The Victorian era, let me look that up, what exactly it was. Queen Victoria era. Okay, the Victorian era was the period of Queen Victoria's reign from 20 June 1837 until her death in January of 1901. 37 to 1901. So the Brontes were fully in the Victorian era, but the world was changing so much in the 19th century. So, a quilt that was made in 1830, like this one, I believe, somewhere between 1830 and 1850, compare this to a crazy quilt, and you can really see, I think it's fair to say, you can see how much, textiles were changing in England and in the States as well. All over the world, because the Industrial Revolution was going crazy. You were having, you could get silks and velvets and, ribbons and, all kinds of things so much faster and so much cheaper than you ever could before. So early 19th century quilts and later 19th century quilts are like wildly different, because you just had more fabric it was more abundant and less expensive for more people to make more quilts. And so there's a lot more to say about that. And we're going to talk about that today a little bit, but specifically because that's such a broad topic, like the Industrial Revolution, and here's an early quilt too that I can get a date on it. It's in my presentation that I'm working on. And I can pull that up. I can actually. Early quilts, we could talk about that as opposed to, early 19th century quilts versus later 19th century quilts. It's a whole thing. But it's such a big topic, I decided to focus on Mariner's Compass today, just to start there, because the Brontë quilt is a Mariner's Compass. I'll pull it back up here, but I just want to talk about, I just want to tell you what era this quilt is. 1830 to 1840. This one is at the Museum of Fine Art in Boston. And yeah, there's so many great quilts. Okay, I'm gonna do something I shouldn't do because I want you to come to the workshop. But look, so I'm working on this thing. These medallion quilts, right? They're so great. They're from, I don't have captions or anything. This is how we make the sausage, right? But these are from, let's see, probably the Met and whoops, sorry, the Met and okay, the International. Okay, they're both from the Quilt Museum in Lincoln, Nebraska. Look at these. Okay, so these would be medallion quilts, but it was interesting. It was interesting, and these are both like 1830, 1820 to 1850, let's say. Okay, English. But what was interesting is I was looking for. Okay, now I gotta hide that. You can't look at that. You're gonna have to come to the workshop. Okay. It was interesting that I wanted to find quilts that had a mariner's compass in the center, or at least some kind of spinning wheel in the center, because look, this is the Brontë quilt. Hang on. Okay. That's the quilt that the gals made. That's the quilt that the Brontë sisters made in 18... Hang on. Oh, God. Can I tell you what? Okay, let's see. Brontë... I just looked this up, as you can imagine. Let's see. What year? It's interesting. It was found in at an auction of Brontë memorabilia in 1800s. In 1898, it was discovered as at an auction of Brontë memorabilia. And it was described as an unfinished patchwork counterpane. But why am I not seeing an actual date on this? I thought I had it. Well, anyway, so it's the first half of the 19th century. And look, there's this center medallion, but it's not a tree of life. We've talked about trees of life before, the medallion frame quilt. It's not a tree of life. It's not a basket. It's not a star. It's this mariner's compass kind of motif, right? And I mean, mariner's compass looks a little bit different from this, like the thing is with quilt blocks and with the names of them, and also with just the designs of them, they change so much. They're rarely very consistent. And there's a lot of reasons for that. There was there's some regionality that I've seen where, if a sawtooth star block is called a sawtooth star block by a lot of people in the Midwest, it's a sawtooth star block to a lot of people in that region. But if you go, to the West Coast or the East Coast, they might call it something else. And it's hard to say what specific block actually is called, because it's actually called a lot of different things. Newspapers, part of the Industrial Revolution was, textile manufacturing, and it was steam engines and things, and it was also publishing. And so if quilt patterns were published in a newspaper, they might call it one thing, a quilt block, and another newspaper might call it something else in England, So there's really, it's hard to say what a block is called, because it's called lots of things. So this, is a mariner's compass variation, you could say. And you know what? By the way, if I'm saying something that seems really wrong to you, this whole endeavor is so I can learn more and connect with people who like quilts too. So if that's not correct, if there's something else I should know that or a place I should look to make sure that I've got that right, I fully encourage you to put a link in the chat to direct me to something that could help me. I'm leading this little discussion, but it doesn't mean that I'm an expert on this stuff. It just doesn't. Barbara Brackman's book is incredible. The Encyclopedia of Pieced Quilt Patterns is, I think it's definitely in its third printing. She cataloged all the quilt blocks, like all of them, into an encyclopedia, and it's a resource that you just can't live without if you're a quilt person. Here is let's see, here is, well, I'll put Amazon here. Yeah, the third edition of that book. It's amazing. And so if you're looking at quilt block names, looking at Barbara Brackman's book is really helpful, because she could, she'll show you a Mariner's Compass block and a variation of that, and give you all of the names that she could find that were used to describe it, or to, all the names that people used, to describe it or to teach it or to have it in a pattern. Okay. So Mariner's Compass is where I went today, trying to find more quilts that had, from that period, that had this motif. And I had a hard time. I showed you this one. This was, it was, it's pretty, it was close enough that, there just weren't that many. There just weren't that many that I found. And I went to the Met, and the Met's website, Metropolitan Museum of Art. I went to the Boston Museum of Fine Art. Of course, I went to the Study Center, the International Quilt Museum website, searched their collections, and that's where this one came from, this quilt on the left. But it was interesting that I just didn't find that many. So you have, in the Brontë quilt, you have all these hexes, those little English paper piecing made hexagons. You have, patchwork, just, simple. No, they're diamonds, they're set on point, these patches. That's actually not that easy as I'm looking at that particular frame. I don't think they did strip sets. I'm thinking they, hand pieced these like 60-degree triangles, right? With those squares. I'm not sure. I think so. And that's, if I was making this quilt today and I had to make that particular frame, I would probably do a strip set. I would figure that out somehow. Then just, simple nine patch stuff around that edge. And then it kind of peters off, doesn't it? The V&A. Susan, I totally went to the V&A, and I got some great stuff at the V&A, for sure. Thank you. I forgot that one. So I've had some good sources, and I found a few. But then I was looking at Kim. I found this woman. Do you know who this is? Do you know about Kim McLean? I didn't know about her. So I'll just give you a gloss over her about page. Oh, here. Put the link in the chat. Okay. She is so talented. We're going to look at one of her quilts, her Mariner's Compass quilts. I'm the original improv. Yeah, exactly. The original improv quilt. The Brontes were winging it, right, Natalie? I feel dumb because she's clearly amazing and probably a superstar, right? So I'm new to her and she's amazing. So, Australian, is that right? Yeah. So she said she did her first beginner class at the Quilting Bee in Sydney in the early 90s. She's done cross-stitch, needlepoint, beading, knitting, crochet, smocking, little girls' Liberty dresses. She does it all except the smocking because her child is grown, but her main passion is quilting. She made quilts early on based on the antique ones that she saw, and then she found K Facet. Interesting. Okay. She says her quilts have the antique feel to them, but they're done in bright, cheery, happy fabrics. K Facet, right? It's pretty good for that. Her quilts are now mostly applique and primitive in style. You can find her patterns sold by Glorious Color on their website. Okay, cool. So you can click on that and go buy her patterns, which, are unbelievably beautiful. Her latest interest is a foray into needlepoint. She's recently produced 5 tapestry canvases, which have been printed in the UK. And then she talks like about technical things related to tapestry and wool. I don't know about that. And okay, yes. Okay, for the Cruel Goblin. So if you're into needlepoint or tapestry stuff, that she's got stuff for you as well. Okay. No, Susan, I mean, yes, I took it completely exactly as you intended. Don't worry about that. Okay, let's look at this this quilt that she's made here. Let's see, Kim McLean Mariner's Compass Medallion. Are you ready for this? Look at that. I mean, let's just enjoy this quilt. Hang on one second. I'm gonna go full screen on this, and maybe we can go even fuller. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So you can see why I was happy to find this, because this is, it's related to the Brontë quilt, right? You've got a circular medallion in the center. You've got blades, the blades. It's, a true mariner's compass. The Brontë quilt, the center medallion is like a little bit different, but it's got those blades and the points and things. Molly just yelled, "Whoa!" Yeah, I did the same thing. She's got hexes going on. She's got applique, of course. I didn't notice this before. Is that embroidery in the very, very center? Is that, it won't let me zoom in any further, but that looks almost, I mean, not embroidery, but needlework. Doesn't it look like needlepoint? Can you tell from your screen? Because to me, that looks like it's got that dotted quality of, it looks like, it looks like embroidery, right? Or crewel work or something like that. Yeah, I know. So in love. Unbelievably beautiful. She's got these scallops. Look at those little scallops. They're just darling. She's fussy cut, right? Look at the center of these hexes, like totally fussy cut, like brilliant. Look at this. That is all. Oh, look. Okay. Come on. Let me just go in a little bit closer. Come on. Oh, wait. We can, because she has other pictures of the quilt, so we can look at things more closely. But just the overall sort of like analysis, like what are we looking at? This is they are. Wait, no. This stuff right here. It's not hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. Is that right? Are those hexes too? Around here, they look like little almost like the puff quilt, those little puffs. Does anybody know, like, why am I not thinking, like pom-poms? They look like little pom-poms, but they're snowballs. Edita sitar. Oh yeah. Oh, we should look at Edita. I bet Edita has some awesome mariner's compass. We're gonna look at her. Yeah, yo-yos. Yeah, she has all the colors. You know what? That's the thing, Carol, is like every color of the rainbow is in this quilt, but it's not, I call like the quilts that are really like insane with a kitchen sink quilt, the ones that just like when someone's like doing a scrap buster and just uses all of the colors. Like I've seen postage stamp quilts, that are just like, whoa, they're just all of the colors, maybe white every other little square or something, but it's just like, it's kind of, it's the kitchen sink, and it's, is it successful design-wise? Like, I don't know. Every quilt is beautiful, but some quilts are more successful design-wise than others. And I mean, this, she has every color, but they're all of a particular tone. Like, but no, I don't actually, I think she's got all the colors because, okay, let's look at a detail. Hang on. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's not garish. Exactly. How does that happen? Okay, so this is not at all embroidery. That's fussy cut, right? That's not at all. Okay. All I needed to do was advance the slide. Funny how that happens. This is a reproduction fabric that's a very old motif. That's like a chintz it's like a chintzy motif, this like leaf thing going on that's a repeat. And this is a reproduction fabric for sure. I wonder who did it. She may say, does it seem like this is all one fabric company? I don't know. I don't think so. Because this like rust red seems like it's a different world from, and I don't mean it's all the same fabric line, but anyway, I don't know. Maybe it is. We'll find out. RJR or something. But this is just like a very, very old school pink. And then she's got these applique elements. Here's another thing, Carol, that blows me away about this quilt. This is like whimsical. The basket and the tulips, they're so whimsical. But this is just like hardcore traditional. And exactly. And when we talked about contemporary quilts, remember the 4 genres, traditional, studio art, contemporary, modern, fully a contemporary quilt, I would say, because she's taking traditions that were done in the past, she's using these traditional elements and then doing it in her own way with her own fabrics. Look at this fussy cut rose. I think we get an even closer look at some of the quadrants. Oh, wow. So good. Wow. Look. Look how she fussy cut that. Now, wait a minute. How is she doing that with the stripe? Yeah, exactly. The values, Carol, that's what I was trying to get at. Like the values of the pinks and there's no orange. There's like rusty orange. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what you're saying. There's no like orange juice orange. There's a dull orange, if you will. And there's no, I see a little bubblegum pink up there, but yeah, you're right. And there's no, I keep picking a color. There's no pale aqua. Well, yes, there is. But it's true. They're all sort of the same value, maybe the same saturation or something like that. Can someone talk to me about this thing right here? Because, I mean, is that the fabric? And like what I'm trying to say is like there's the hexie, but there's this darker, this frame, and I don't know how she's doing that. Okay, bye, Bip. We'll see you soon. See you on Thursday. Thanks for coming. Anybody? Ideas? I just don't know. It must have been a stripe, right? Okay, sorry. I'm talking about the rabbit hole. Like I'm really down in there. But it's just fussy cut. Like that, this like gray and black piece of fabric must have been a stripe. There must have been a stripe going through it. Yeah. And because it looks like she pieced a hexie, and then like she pieced 6 hexies and then pieced them together. But I don't think she did, because the rest of these are all just fussy cut, right? They're just fussy cut. Yeah, exactly. English paper piecing for sure. I know it looks like half hexies. Okay. I don't know. You know what I want to do? I want to talk to her and ask her. So as soon as I get the interview thing set up, maybe we can. Wouldn't that be great to talk to her about this quilt? Wow. Okay. Oh yeah. And then this is the same quilt. Yeah. Done in K facet fabric. There's only one picture of this one. Isn't that amazing? I don't know. She's a genius. She's a genius. So that was my foray into a contemporary Mariner's Compass quilt. So then, yeah. So Kim McLean, so great. I was looking at her, and I was looking at these medallion quilts, and I was Mariner's Compass quilts, and I was thinking, there's got to be more about Mariner's Compass out there, you know, and I want to know more about it because this is like what I like, and this is what we do. So I went to go find some information on them, and I found them. I found information. One of the things I found was on YouTube, and I really like watching videos with you all. So Mariner's Compass quilt pattern. And I want to go look at this. Okay, I just liked the look of this lady, so I started playing it, and I was like, yeah, I like this. So I don't know exactly what it is. Part of the fun here is that we just find things together, and I try to keep things together, but I don't know where it's gonna go. Sometimes we talk about cookware. So I've got history about the Mariner's Compass, but let's look at some fun stuff first. Okay. Wow. Amazing. Okay. Twitch streams, if you're new here, they just go on as long as they do. And a lot of people watch them while they're doing other things like sewing or cooking or doing some. So I tell you that because we're going to watch that again. And we can because there's no time limit. And I want to watch it at half speed. That's what I want to do. Because I want to see what parts she's putting down or putting up on that design wall. Because I was excited and I was eating a chip. And I was kind of like, I was watching, but I wasn't like super watching until I was seeing that she's made these units, right? This is just a 3-minute video. So, yeah. Same, Susan, I know. She's made these units, you know. Yeah, it's a short video. We're not going to see it all. But we can watch some other things on Mariner's Compass and see how they do it. But I want to watch this again. I want to watch it at half speed. Yeah, let's see. The music will sound kind of funny, but we'll be able to see her. And it's funny, she sped up the thing so it would go faster, but quilters like want to see it slow, you know, to see how she does it. All right. Okay, so those are strip sets, sort of. And then there's this middle part. Oh, the time. I mean, yeah, okay, so those units. 8 of those then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Donna Viao of the Masquerade. I'll put the link in the chat. Okay, then these. Oh man, those spikes. Is it paper pieced? It has to be. What do you think? I know, Nancy. I know. Wedges, great. Curved seams, awesome. So she's sewn that one. Okay. I think she was laying out the pieces before, but that's a unit. I mean, the thing is, like, this is insane and beautiful, and frankly, it's advanced. It's advanced. Come on. It's really advanced. But 1 unit at a time, right? I mean, if you make, look, the little pie and crust thing she's putting up there right now. I mean, how many do you need? 2, 4, 6, like 16 of those probably. Hey, Myra. Yes. Oh, this is perfect. Myra, this is what I'm talking about. Myra is listening in the car while she's commuting to work. Perfect. Perfect. This is what it's all about. Okay. I'm glad you're here, Myra. Very glad. It's one thing at a time. So like you make a unit, and like by the time you get to the 5th one, you know, you've made 4 of them. So is it that bad? You know, the first 1 or 2 of anything. I mean, the first, like who was talking about it, Susan? I mean, quilt blocks, you know, the first couple quilt blocks I make, usually on anything but the most basic patchwork, they look terrible. But then what, by like the 10th block, you're good. Okay, there's another unit. So she's got these little triangles in there. So that's overlaid? Hang on. No, it's not. What's going on there? Sorry. Okay. So is this little center, you know, geometric shape, is that part of those big units? Okay, sorry. I apologize, but this is how it goes. Hey, Myra. Okay. You see, look. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, man. Woo. There is no... Okay, sorry. That is a set-in. I mean, that's just... And that's like the set-in of the ages, right? That is not... There's no trick there. You know, Fons and Porter is always about, like, the trick. Well, not just Fons and Porter, but it's always great to find a shortcut, you know? You can do a feathered star without doing a feathered... Like, there's lots of ways you can... who was that woman? She's so talented. Deb Tucker. Deb Tucker has these amazing rulers. She's brilliant, you know? She's this brilliant teacher, brilliant patchworker, quilter, and she comes up with, like, awesome ways to... cheat is not what I want to say, but to sort of get around some of the ickiest parts of making some of these star blocks. Well, we can go to Deb Tucker in just a minute, but this, I don't think there's a shortcut for that. I know. Molly, same. I mean... It's magnificent. We're going to look up who this is. I mean, isn't it nice at half speed? Look. Wow. I want to show you something really funny. Oh, no. Oh, did I? Oh, no, I didn't go back. I want to we'll jump right back to this point, but I want to show you something I noticed. Okay, so we're at 49 seconds. Look at the beginning. Look up at the upper right corner of this video, okay? Do you see it now? The upper right corner. Molly, you're driving. I mean, Myra, you're driving. Look later. Look at the corner. Okay. You see the Christmas lights? I noticed those a little bit earlier and I didn't say anything because I was like, Mary, you don't have to talk through the whole thing. I mean, whatever. But there's Christmas lights up there. And then where were we? We're at 49. I just want to point out The Christmas lights are gone. So can we just be, I mean, let's just be honest. She didn't finish this that fast, okay? Because they took those Christmas lights down. And maybe they took them down for Christmas, or maybe this has just been a project that has just been around for so long that they cleaned the garage. I'm just saying, we gotta be real, people. She's like, she might have said, and I'll find her, we can bring her on the show, let's talk to her. She's, you know, a goddess, right, for making this. But maybe she was like, I'm gonna film this video about this amazing masterpiece that I'm making. And then she's like, ooh, it's taking a lot longer than I thought. I better save the clothes that I was wearing for when I finish this one day. You know what I'm saying? So, video, man. Okay, so wall size. Oh, okay. Now we have a caption. Wall size has 144 paper piece units. Wow. Oh. Brilliant. Wow. Just add 24 more. Wow. See, the garage door is up now, so spring, winter has turned to spring. I'm just playing. Wow, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. You have to look her up. Who is this woman? Myra, that sounds really good. Myra's gonna go to probably quilt shop, right? Oh yeah, you're gonna stop at the quilt shop before the hospital. I love it. I love it. Myra, I'm so glad you're here. We've got our little crew now, you know? This is good. That's good. Oh, look at the border. Well, that's fun. Just because if you didn't have enough spikes. Wow. Wow. I know. Hey, Nori, hi. An email is coming to you. I was waiting for you to show up so I could... Oh, look at her. She's wonderful. I got your email and I'll email you back. She's doing a dance. I love her so much. She's who we're going to figure out. We're going to find her next. I would be doing that as well. Oh, sorry. Oh, I got it. Something weird. Okay, yeah. When I was trying to smack that fly, I hit mute. At least I knew what happened. It should be okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah. I love her dancing. Yeah, and the Christmas lights are on the left. She's amazing. I'll bet you. Okay, good. Oh, this feels like a Paducah quilt to me, doesn't it? Oh, and she's sewn it all together. That's a great video. I mean, that's a really, really, really well done video. Because she, we didn't know it was all sewn together, right? Oh, look how happy she is. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, there's still 30 seconds. What is she gonna do? I hope she's good. Look at her face. Oh, she's so great. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Look at her face as she's looking at this thing. I just have to. It's so good. It's so good. She's awesome. Look at her. She's like, yeah. I love it. So, and she touches it. She's like, that's right. That's right, baby. I made that. Oh, she's so great. Oh, that makes me so. Oh my God! No. Oh my God! We did it! Oh, oh my God! Oh my God! I cannot. Oh, okay, wait, that we need regular speed now. Because, okay. Oh my gosh, that was really, really, really cool. That was so sweet, her husband. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story after we watch this. It's so great. Oh my gosh. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, no, she did speed it up. Okay, so okay.
We got this whole thing done. We did it. Isn't that awesome?
It was easy.
Yeah, it was.
Wow. Okay. Are you crying? Are you crying? Because I'm totally crying. We're gonna follow her on Facebook. The Masquerade NH, New Hampshire, maybe? Sorry, that was really touching because I've at a lot of quilt, in classes, like when I was teaching all over, it was interesting. And if you've all taken classes like through your guild or just, at a conference or wherever, the teacher teaches for a while and then you sew, if it's an all-day workshop or a 2-day workshop, that's the whole point is like you get the instruction, you hang out, and then you sew. And so as the teacher, like I would do the demo and talk about fabric and all that stuff. And then I would circulate, through the class. And over the years, it was really years, like 5 solid years, but also I was gigging like probably 7 all in, and some years a lot. And I talked to women. I talked to you all, I talked to people who were in the classes, and I learned a lot from the people that I hung out with, because we were just sewing and I was talking to them and learning about them and chatting with them. And I mean, the life of an itinerant quilt teacher is tough. It's not easy, but I do miss that part of it, because I just heard the most amazing stories. And the reason that I bring it up right now is because, thank you, Molly. Yes, we got to go there. And there would be these women. So I was married years ago, briefly, like 2 years. And it was, I don't know. I don't really believe in I don't believe in something being cursed or, but it was kind of doomed, that whole thing, because I really loved him and he loved me. But, right after we got married, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis and I was so sick. And we got married in September, and in October I went to Mayo Clinic. And I mean, it's just such a painful story. The whole story of my illness. I was so sick and I had so many complications with the surgeries and everything. Some of you know that part of my story. Maybe one day we'll talk about it, but in more detail. But I mean, it was terrible. I mean, I almost died, I mean, I was so sick and the surgeries just kept not going well. And so I was this newlywed, in the hospital in Rochester, Minnesota, and then in Chicago just for a full year. And then into the next year, and then on and off. I've been stable for a number of years, which is so great. But I was married, and it was just terrible. And then my husband, for reasons of, his work and our just life, he joined the army. He joined the army because he was going to train on computers and stuff. And anyway, it sounds crazy, and it probably was, for this all to happen. And he was devoted to me, and that was all fine. But we were thinking about the future, and he was away, and I was well enough that this seemed like, now I tell you about it, it's like, wow, that was a bad idea. But you think it's a good idea at the time, and you have a plan, and you're like, okay, we can do this. And anyway, he was away for basic training, and I was doing okay, and all this happened. And anyway, it just, he came back and it fell apart. I mean, he had become kind of different through his training and his education there with the army, and I had changed because I mean, everything changed. I had a health issue that just about took me down, and I'll just go ahead and tell you, we're all friends here, an ostomy, and then I had another one, and so you go through a catastrophic illness like that, and you kind of have a different perspective than you had before, in a good way, and then a not so good way, whatever. And so it just was doomed. When I say that it's doomed, I said that before, you can kind of say, okay, yeah, it sounds like it was. And I say this because I was like, I'm never doing that again. I'm never going to get married again. And I meant it. And I was on my own for, definitely 8 years, almost 9 years. And I could have gotten married again, and I didn't. A couple times, it was like, this definitely could have happened. But I was like, not going to do it. And I would talk to these women in these classes and learn about their life. I was much more interested in learning about their life than talking about my own. And I would meet women like this woman, for example, a quilter who's, a brilliant quilter. Why was she taking my class? I don't know. I taught like beginner patchwork, but you'd meet these wonderful people. And there was a woman who said, and I would meet them, and sometimes I would share, that I was married and, years ago, and I wasn't going to do it. And there would be some women who said, my husband is my second husband, and he is the love of my life. And Mary, I said I wasn't going to get married again either. I was just like you. I'm not saying that this is this woman's story, but, a quilter would say to me, I get it, it happened to me as well. I got married, and I called that my practice round. Because when I met my second husband, and we've been married for 35 years, or we've been married for 45 years, and she just would get this look on her face. And I remember meeting these people who had this story, meeting these women, and just like, I couldn't even allow myself to want that. Like, I couldn't even allow myself to want it, because it was like, wow, that would be amazing. But I was so jaded, right? I was so like bitter. And thanks, Molly. And I don't know. I just didn't trust it. So when I see a woman like this, when I see this woman, I should say, dancing with her husband, who's like her biggest fan.
Well, look, we got this whole thing done.
Oh.
We did it. Isn't that awesome?
It was easy.
Yeah, it was.
I just feel so grateful because that's, I would hear stories about a woman who's like, I make quilts and my husband's my biggest fan, and he goes to quilt shops with me and he waits patiently while I get all my stuff, and he never complains because he loves my quilts. I just remember really being afraid to even want that, and I did find it. Because Eric is amazing, and he waited for me when I was shopping at the Birmingham Quilt Festival for notions, and he loves what I make, and he's so excited about Twitch. I mean, he bought me that stream, this button thing. He got me my new microphone, and I want to grow old with him and dance with him, in front of a quilt. So that is my little story. Same here, Nori says. You just got married in August. Second husband. He's the love of my life and the best support with my quilts. Nori. Well, congratulations. You got married in August. Congratulations, Nori. That's so cool. I don't know where you are in life in terms of, you know, how many years you've been on this planet, but it doesn't matter. You can be 30, you could be 40, like I was, like 50, 60, 70, 80, I don't know, but that you found that person is really, really awesome. It's really awesome. He might be a pain in the neck sometimes. Lord knows. Eric can get so grumpy. It's crazy, but I love him. Period. And you know what? I'm not getting divorced again. We're gonna go to quilts again, but I'm not doing it. I'm staying with him. It's gonna get hard. It's gonna be hard. It's been hard at times, but I said you can't get rid of me, buddy. I'm staying because life is hard. Period. But I want to do it with you. Hey, City Mac. Nori's 34. 30. Listen, my 30s are fun, and now you've got all that time to be with your husband and have fun. I love it. Myra, you've been meaning to write me a long email about this since March, but life has been complicated and busy. You need to sit down and do it. I would love that email, and I will try to answer it faster than I've been answering emails lately. Write it, girl. Write it. I love to hear from you guys. I hate saying guys. I'd love to hear from you. Sibby, you know what? It's a good time. It's a good time. Okay, so that's what we've got. We've got love in the chat. Now, Molly put the link to this woman's, he's my lobster. What does that mean? I love that. He's my lobster. What does that mean? We have to like the masquerade, and I have to subscribe to her. So we liked and we subscribed. Okay. And quiltworks.com. Okay, hang on. We got to click on that too. We got to click on all the stuff. It really matters, you know. It really matters. Natalie, you got to tell me about this lobster thing. I must know. Okay, let's add a public comment. Okay, wait. You are amazing. What should I say? I don't want to be like promotional. Like my Twitch chat thinks you're great, but you're amazing. Oh wait, I gotta be. Hang on. I have two YouTube things because I don't like being all over the internet sometimes. Okay. Oh, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you got to do it. See, it matters. Like all those little likes and subscribes, they all matter. Okay, I want to like and subscribe as me and say you are amazing. Should I say my friends and I? My friends and I watched this video and we loved your dancing solo and partner. The quilt was pretty cool too. Wink. All right, we're gonna comment. Yeah, exactly. SJ? Oh, they mate for life. Lobsters mate for life. That's amazing. I love that. Okay. Yes. Okay, so here we are. So quiltworks.com. 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 Judy Niemeyer. Some of you probably knew that, right? Judy Niemeyer. Judy Niemeyer. It's interesting. Right now I've got Edita Sitar, Deb Tucker, and Judy Niemeyer. Superstars, right? All superstars. And they're all on the list. Ooh, look at this. Look at the Mariner's Compass. Look at those Mariner's Compass. Oh, how about that? Certified instructors. That's interesting. So is that a Judy Niemeyer pattern? Interesting. Do you all know Judy Niemeyer? We're going to look at her. Masquerade costumes, embroidery, and quilts. Okay. This is a person, no kidding, who needs to be on Twitch. Not just for this little stream, but because Twitch has a lot of costume makers, and I would have found her if she is on Twitch, but we can look. It would be so fun for her, I think, right? Because she's so much fun, and she's doing all these different things. She's making all these different kinds of things, costumes and quilts, and wow. Twitch is good for this creative person, you know, because you can do all kinds of things on here. Anyway, all right. Well, oh look, she's sewing lace. Ugh. Sewing lace. I would be like, let me try to learn Greek first. I mean, really, like I would be like way more interested in learning how to speak Greek than sewing lace, because it would be a disaster. Wow, look at this. Wow. Susan, you mentioned like the tedium sometimes of doing quilt blocks, like a lot of them. I like making quilt blocks, you know, within reason. But what is hard for me, I love the look of a two-color, two-tone, two-fabric quilt. But I mean, it's just repetitive, right? It to me, I don't want to say boring, but like a blue and white quilt is just so effective. It's so beautiful, but doing all that just blue and white, you know, over and over and over again, it's kind of tough, man. Kind of tough. Let's see. Blue and white vintage quilt. Whoops. I love the way they look, but they just, you know, they're just really, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like it's hard just to sit down, well, to stand up and cut out 1,000 zillion pieces in just two fabrics, you know? Okay. Hang on, and then I want to look at Judy Niemeyer for a second. Yeah, it's not ever boring. It just isn't. It just isn't boring. Boring isn't what it is to make a quilt. But kind of, what's the word? Well, let's put it this way. You need a good podcast. Not one that's going to put you to sleep. You need a good Twitch stream. You need a good, you know, yeah, you need a good podcast. You need a good Netflix show, you know? Yeah, beautiful. That would never get boring. A feathered star like that would never get boring because you just have to pay too much attention, you know? Okay, so let's do this. I want to look at... Oh, okay. The Mariner's Compass. I got to read you this stuff. Hang on. Because I have history of Mariner's Compass to tell you. All right, hang on. Let me think. How am I going to do this? Here's how I'm going to do it. Here, I can press my button for the International Quilt Museum. Don't you do that to me now. Okay. Hey, So Kate. Hi. How's it going? We're having a good time. It's been a stream of personal stories. It's been a stream of a particular patchwork motif that we're gonna talk more about right now. But it's been I don't know, kind of, well, a little bit emotional. Mostly we've been geeking out on quilts, including Kim McLean. You'll see it on the replay. I hope you'll watch the replay because there's a really, really beautiful quilt that we look at in depth that kind of started us on this whole Mariner's Compass thing, which is where I'm going now. Okay, Mariner's Compass. Hey, look at that, lobster. Hang on. Natalie, look, lobster. There's a lobster quilt that's available for searching on the International Quilt Museum website. You know, once a stream, the The internet just kind of slows down a little bit. It'll get fixed. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Look! This is lobster? Lobster. Well, I don't understand. Hold on. Lobster. So I'm looking at this because Natalie said that I found my lobster in Eric because, lobster's mate for life, and I love that. But how is this a lobster quilt? I don't know anything about it. Do you all know about lobster quilts? I'm trying to find the lobster in that block, and I'm not totally sure. Are you seeing it? Really, it's like one of those Rorschach tests, I love it. The red is really great. Yeah. Lobster quilt. I bet we're going to get a lot of novelty prints right now. A whole lot of lobster fabrics. But there's only one in the database. It's interesting. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, wow. Ooh. I don't know how you feel about lobsters. I find them a little bit disturbing. Like, I do. I've heard they're called sea bugs, right? Yeah, okay, you didn't see it either. Okay, good. Eating them, yeah. Oh, this is cute. Look at this. That's cute. Little lobster quilt. I don't know. I don't know if I like that actually, but I like the creativity. This is very sweet. That's very well designed. I think that's very, very well designed. I think we need to, just in case, Natalie, you mentioned lobsters completely separate from quilts, but there may be people who want to know more about lobster quilts. I don't know. This is what this show's all about. We go where we go because it's fun. If we planned everything out, So Art East Quilting Company, follow, putting it in chat. An emotional roller coaster about how I feel about lobsters. It's true. Yeah, I love being compared to a lobster, and also I am afraid of lobsters. It's true. Okay, so that's there we go. This is a little much. It looks too spidery for me. But this one's really good. Oh, see, look, how is that cute? That's scary. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay. All right. Back to this. I figured out, by the way, instead of making you all dizzy, scrolling through this really long list of quilts, I can just hit the first letter, at least, of the pattern that I'm looking for, and it jumps right to, in this case, M. So that's really great. So Mariner's Compass. Okay, we're gonna pull up a few Mariner's Compass quilts. I'm gonna take you through a few. I want to have that eye candy for you as I read a little bit about Mariner's Compass that I found. Okay. And if you are just joining us, welcome to the great nerd out about quilts. Okay. This is from Judy Matheson. This is an interview that Judy Matheson did. If you know her, she's just another one of these. I don't know how many we're going to get to, but she's really a legend, an expert quilter. A master quilter. So she gave this interview, just a little, it's not terribly long, but she talks about Mariner's Compass because she's kind of an expert on them, okay? So she talks a little bit about it, and I think it is very, very interesting, okay? Talking to Women Folk, which is a website that Judy Ann Brenneman, it's a pretty great website, womenfolk.com. I don't think she's updating it much anymore, but she talked to Judy Matheson about Mariner's Compass. Okay, Mariner's Compass quilts bring to mind seas of long ago as the captain of a ship struggles to find his way in the deep fog. Ugh, lobster. Oh yeah, lobsters are like the sea. Okay. In truth, this pattern reflects back to a seafaring guide that existed even before the compass. Quilt pattern designer Judy Matheson specializes in mariner's compass patterns. I asked her to share some information with us, and she offered the following introduction to the mariner's compass quilt. Quote, "Mariner's compass is the name quilters use to refer to star designs that radiate from the center of a circle. From the center of a circle, as opposed to star designs that grow from a square, like Ohio star or sawtooth star. If you're going to call your design a mariner's compass, it should probably have 16 or 32 points, like the compass card on a magnetic compass or map. Barbara Brackman says this is one of the earliest named quilting designs in America." Whoa. Wow. Continuing the quote. "Although the design source is lost in history, it probably had something to do with the design as seen on navigational maps. Certainly, there is a large proportion of existing antique quilts from the Atlantic coast made with this design." Oh, okay. This is a great quilt. I've seen this before. "Any quilter who is interested in this design would benefit from a study of sailing charts as far back as the 16th century. Wow." Unquote. Okay. It's not surprising that the mariner's compass pattern, is one of the earliest quilt patterns. The design is a very old one. Let me open this. Okay. All right. Before the compass itself, right, was available, early mariners depended on a wind chart called the wind rose. You know who probably knows this? Molly. Molly probably knows. Although not always reliable, the wind rose was the best that could be done before the magnetic compass came into use in the late 13th century. Look at this quilt. It's so good. Yeah, Tennessee. Okay. Susan, if you have a link, or maybe that's one of the ones we saw. Okay. I'm not sure. Yeah, if I looked at a wind rose chart, I'd be dead. I can maybe host a Twitch stream, sort of, but like sailing a boat, no. Don't come on a boat that I'm in charge of. Okay, for some time after sailors still depended on the winds, as they didn't completely trust the magnetic compass. Oh, okay. For some time after. Oh, I see. For some time after the magnetic compass, okay, sailors still depended on the winds as they didn't completely trust the magnetic compass. During this time, the wind rose gradually evolved into the compass rose on nautical maps. Boom. Ba-boom. The compass rose continued to be a useful decorative feature on charts and maps for the next few centuries. I know, isn't it wonderful, Nori? It's likely that quilters were inspired by the various designs used to depict the compass rose over time. The first known quilt to use the mariner's compass design was made in 1726 in England. Brontes, England. Mariner's compass. Such quilts might well have been made earlier, but we must first depend on this first dated quilt for certainty. Last paragraph. It is unknown if this quilt from 1726... Oh, I have a picture of it. Hang on. Hold on. Hey, everybody hold on. Okay. Yeah, I have a picture. It is unknown if this really... Wow. Hold on. Oh, it's such a bad picture. Oh, no. Okay. Well, this was from that article. I'm sorry. Look at that little... Sorry, I've got a little gnat. He keeps flying around. I mean, this is the best thing. That's the best image, I think, that we can get. This is from that article. But, I mean, that's from 1726? Really? that's, I mean, the chintz, right? This stuff looks about right, but I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. Where is this quilt? We're going to look for it in just a second. It's unknown if this quilt from 1726 was even called a mariner's compass quilt, as it was documented with a date but not a name. Many other quilts of this general pattern have been made over the years, but only since the mid-20th century was the name mariner's compass commonly used. Mid-20th century. Meanwhile, quilts of this design have been named everything from chips and whetstones to the explosion. Such sun-related names like sunburst and rising sun were also common. Oh, I just thought of something. Okay. The variations in the name of this quilt is a good example of how difficult it is to uncover the history of any given pattern by name. That's what I said at the beginning, and I'm so glad I read it again because I was feeling a little bit whooshy about how I was explaining that. Okay, a couple things. Hang on one second. Hang on. So that was Judy Matheson. Okay, I'll put this in here. Jenny Smith has a mariner's compass in her new Liberty book. Yes, on your list to make next year, Nori. Love it. Okay, so let me just see. That's the link to the article that I was reading from. And this. Okay, I gotta show you a picture. Why didn't I think of this? I knew I was thinking about something. A quilt that I had seen, you know? Look at these. Beauties. This is just, that's like chartreuse, you know, that yellow. It's just chartreuse. Look at that. That's from 1870 and 1890, somewhere in there at the Quilt Museum. 88 by 86. Wow. So, I mean, according to what we just read, they wouldn't have called it a mariner's compass when it was made. You know, maybe they called it like it's a nautical looking quilt or a wind rose. I don't know. But we just learned that they didn't start calling mariner's compass until the mid 20th century. It's quite crazy. Okay. I just want to see. Hold on. Mariner's compass quilt 1726. I just want to see if we can get a better picture of that. Mariner's compass quilt 1726. It's so long ago. Shop Mariner's compass quilt 1726. Okay. We're not going to get to Judy Niemeyer tonight or Edita. I don't know. Okay, more mariners. Lobsters. Oh no. Ugh. Interesting. Okay, now I'm gonna, while that's loading, I'm gonna find this other thing. Yep. Over here. Okay, lots of books. Judy Matheson, Mariner's Compass Quilts. You see, so that's who was interviewed for that article that we just read. Interesting. Okay, I need Dropbox. Yeah, I don't know. Who has that quilt? That 1726 quilt. I don't know. Okay, I'm going here. I'm pulling up some quilt folk pictures because I want to show you the quilt that it was in the back of my mind and I couldn't remember where I had seen it. Okay, here we go. So there, yeah, that's the picture of the quilt that was on womenfolk.com. And there's nothing bigger. That's too bad. I wonder where that is. What museum has that quilt? We hope that it has. A museum has it. Okay, so flat shots. So do you all know who Bets Ramsey is? Bets Ramsey is a beautiful soul, a famous quilter, a famous quilt maker and scholar. She lives in Nashville, and she is I mean, she's in her 90s now, and I got to meet her through Quilt Folk. I'm so happy that I did. She wrote with Mary Kay Waldvogel a really important book on quilts from the South, and I believe the book on a book on Civil War quilts as well. Really special person. I want to watch one more video on Mariner's Compass quilts tonight before we sign off. Hang on. And Bets had a quilt at her house, which I'm wanting to pull up here. Bets had a quilt at her house that I believe her grandmother made. So it would have been, if Bets is 90 now, this was a quilt that was made a very, very long time ago, right? Because if it was her grandmother, I found it. Here it is. This is Bets Ramsey, Quilters Hall of Fame, inducted, 2005, long time ago. I mean, Bets is a person we could talk about, and we will talk about at some point, because she just is so dear. She was born in Chattanooga in 1923. 1923! She was born in 1923. And she's a wonderful quilt maker, just wonderful. But she started to, her life is just crazy. She started to teach, and then she also was very important in the, look at that. She was also really important in the development of the quilt study projects, like the documentation projects that just the proliferation of these quilt documentation projects in the 80s and 90s and on until the, I don't know how much is going on today with the quilt documentation projects, but, if you've ever seen those books, some of you hopefully have some of these books, but like, Piecing Our History, quilts from Atlanta or from Georgia, Georgia's quilts, or, the American, the Kentucky Quilt Project, right, was a quilt documentation project. There was this whole grassroots movement. Each state, not all of them, but many, many states were organizing these documentation days where people from all over the state, they'd put the call out with fax machines, ads in the newspaper, word of mouth, quilt guilds, put the word out that these documentation days were going to happen at like a local church or a gymnasium, at a high school or whatnot. And people from all over the state would bring the quilts that they had in their families. Hang on. Maybe I might need some light. I don't know. I can't see myself, so I'm not sure. But they would bring their quilts to these documentation days, and we gotta talk about quilt documentation days. And the people in charge would record them. Make a record of these quilts. Take a picture, get the provenance if they had it, if they could have it, if the people knew it. And wonderful books were made. Many states, many documentation projects have a book out. And some of them are better than others. I just mentioned Georgia. Let's see. Georgia. Their book is wonderful. Georgia Quilt Doc Project book is... It's stunning. It's so good. Ugh. You should get it. You can get it used, and it's just a beautifully made, thick book. Hey, bye, Molly. We'll see you soon. Okay, I'm glad you came. I'll talk to you soon. It's a really, really great book. Bets Ramsey was one of the first people to organize any of that, and she, was working on the quilt documentation, the Southern Quilt Symposium. I think it was Kentucky and Tennessee, or it's kind of like a scandal, like who was first. Anyway, Bets was there really early on. Georgia quilts, Tennessee quilts. Okay. Anyway, this is a quilt that she had in her house when we went to visit her for Quilt Folk for issue 4, Tennessee. And it reminds me of the Brontë quilt. And now we've come full circle. So now this is where, for now, we will end the stream for Tuesday. And really, when you think about what a stream is, it's It's kind of what we're doing. We like jump into the stream and look at quilt stuff, and the stream, then we jump out. And the stream kind of keeps going, you know, the stream of like quilt knowledge, and sort of a river rapids, it feels like sometimes. But yeah, I mean, there's no easy way to end a stream because it keeps going and going. But we can sort of come full circle with the Brontë quilt and with this quilt of Bets Ramsey's. Okay, hang on. It's a big file, the picture of this quilt, so it is it's taking its time. Hang on 1 second. Whoop. Let me see if I can do anything there. Kind of get this a little bit. All right, people. You got this. All right. Feel good about this. Okay, sorry. Well, yeah. Okay, I'm going to pull it up right here so you can see what's happening. So this quilt that's coming up, it's just got that center medallion, that like spinning thing in the middle, in the center of it. And while that's happening, I'll show you what I mean. This, by the way, okay, so this is the Brontë quilt reproduction. There's a group in here in England, and I don't know if it was a guild project or if it was just a group of people. I'll know soon. Probably by tomorrow's research haul, I will know. But they did a reproduction of the Brontë quilt. And, you know, it's great. And it's interesting because, like, when the Brontes made their version, you know, they didn't have all the fancy tools that we have today. And it's kind of funny because the Brontë quilt's a little bit wonky. It's not finished either, but, you know, it's kind of wonky, you could say that. But, like, they were writers. Oh, those are my feet. That's really funny. Those are my feet. I'm holding up the quilt. They were writers. They weren't quilt makers. Hang on. So it's like they're forgiven, right? They're forgiven for not having like a perfect spinning, you know, mariner's compass in the middle. But you see, okay, look. You have the Brontë quilt in your mind, right? And you're welcome, Sibby. It's my pleasure. I love doing this, and thank you for coming in early in all of this and being with me as we figure all this out, you know. This spinning thing looks more like the Brontë quilt center than some of the mariner's compasses we've looked at, you know. Isn't that great? I love this quilt. All of this, it's all faded, but some of the black remains. And it gives this, isn't it great, Susan? It gives this abstract sense to it. I mean, it's art. It's art. It's so art. And this is on the wall at Bets Ramsey's house in Nashville. And I believe it was her grandmother who made it. And it's just magnificent, isn't it? I mean, you just can't take your eyes away from it. And I couldn't remember, like, where have I seen, you know, a quilt with that like swirl in it, and it was in the back of my mind, and this is the best thing ever to come on the stream and have this happen, right? Where, you know, you're drawing connections between this and that, and then you remember something, you know, looking at other quilts. I guess that's what research is. But what's interesting about, you know, this project, this like Twitch thing, is like there's no time limit. And I can let just my mind and our minds wander a little bit through this quilt world, because I hadn't remembered this until now. Isn't it wonderful? God. They're like beach balls, you know? I loved those shoes. Look how trash they are. Ugh. I wore them to death, clearly. Yeah, they look like beach balls. And let me just show you the Brontë quilt next to that, and you'll see what I mean. Oh, yeah. Okay, you You know, let me pull these together. Oh, you're the worst. Oh, hang on. Just try to get it a little bit. You know, it's sort of like, it's like the Brontë quilt and the one on the left and the Mariner's Compass we saw. It's like if the Mariner's Compass and and this quilt of Bet's, you know, on the left had a baby. Look at this. This is the center medallion. Okay, bear with me here. Bear with me here. Thanks computer for being able to do all this weird stuff. So if this quilt of Bet's, okay, if Bet's quilt, if that's his grandmother's quilt, and Kim McLean's quilt with this very spiky Mariner's Compass, if these two quilts had a baby, and the baby was born in Yorkshire in 1840, it would be the Brontë quilt, you know? Because this is kind of a curve, but it's also kind of spiky, and that's what I'm thinking. Look at that. Look at that lovely array. Look at that lovely array. I like that. I like that. I think I'll take a screenshot. Well, why? I mean, why? What does it matter, right? But this is. I like that combo. You never know. Screenshot. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming. It is a pleasure to be with you always. And yeah, I don't know. I was looking forward to Tuesday since Sunday. So what I want to do is I want to stream 3 times a week. So you can always find me here Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central, 5 p.m. if you're in the UK. But if you click follow, I don't know. If you haven't followed me yet, follow me. That would be great. I'm trying to get to 150 followers. And that would, I don't know. It's a goal. So if you haven't followed me yet, please follow me. And if you hit the notification button, somewhere in there, you can get a little notification on your phone or your tablet or whatnot when I go live. So you can always find me Tuesdays and Thursdays right here doing this kind of crazy stuff. And then I like Saturday night. That was really fun. Saturday night, 10 p.m. for me was like 4 p.m. on the East Coast. That was a really fun stream. I really enjoyed it. So I think I'll probably do that again. But yeah, that's it. Quilting Chic, I really appreciate you coming. I'm a nerd. I'm a dork. I'm figuring this out. I just thank you for being the kind of person who also wants to just look at pretty stuff and learn about it. That's it. It's as simple as that. So bye, Carol and Nori and everybody, the gang, Natalie and Molly, and y'all are great. So I'll see you soon, and tell a friend, tell somebody if you liked this show, and we'll just have more and more people all the time who nerd out and wait for my computer to load images sometimes. Okay. All right. Bye. Bye.